Thank you for ordering your Only Turbofans starter kit. In this video, we will go over the items in your box, the installation of the items on your wheel, limitations and possible need to contact for adjustments or modifications, how to read the measuring tool, and what measurements we're after. In your box, you will have the following items, which are labeled in the included diagram. Part A, the hub ring. This item is wheel specific based on the hub bore of your wheel. The thickness of the ring that is in your box is 10 millimeters, but it can be made thinner for applications in which it may interfere. Part B, the base screw. This part can be installed into Part C and has two different size threads. The smaller of the threads goes into Part C. There are three different lengths available for Part B. You have been supplied the shortest. If you have a thick wheel face and it can't reach Part A in later steps, you may need a longer version. Contact me directly for changes. Part C, the top hat. This part is universal and sits flat against the face of the wheel. This part is crucial in the connection of the Only Turbofan system. Part D, the lug adapter. This part is also wheel specific based on the lug pattern of your wheel. This part is made in general length for the lug covers. It is the only part that may need modification, which we will discuss at a later point in this video. Part E, the top nut. This is the final piece in the Only Turbofan system. The center hole on the nut can accept 50mm stickers of your choice. All hardware in the Only Turbofan's locking system is made from high-quality ASA and will not warp unless subjected to sustained 212 degrees. It is also water, chemical, and UV resistant, so it is designed to last. Now let's review the parts of the measuring tool. They will be made out of pink PLA. First is the interface base. Next, the offset bar, the radius arm, and finally, the radius arm holder. Let's take a moment to learn how the radius arm and the offset bar are read. The numbers on the offset bar represent the tens place. Each edge-to-edge line represents a tens place. Only even numbers are printed into the piece. The edge-to-edge line between the 2 and the 4 would be a 3. Each small line is multiples of 2 for the ones place. If on the edge-to-edge line between the 2 and 4, your offset is 30 millimeters. If it is two small lines above the 3, then your measurement would be 34 millimeters. Some lines are not shown due to number printing. Use your best estimation to determine that value. The radius arm bar is read similarly to the offset bar. There are two numbers which represent the hundreds and the tens place. For instance, the edge-to-edge 22 mark is 220 millimeters. The edge-to-edge mark between the 22 and the 24 would be 230 millimeters. All small marks represent the ones place and again are in multiples of 2. If you are two small marks past the edge-to-edge mark of 22, it would be plus 4 for a total of 224 millimeters. The radius bar is read on the outside edge of the holder, noted by the arrow on the top of the radius bar holder. Now let's mount the hardware on your wheel. Step 1 is to remove the wheel from your vehicle. Remember to use safety equipment. Step 2 is to remove any center caps from your wheel, as this is where Part A will rest. Step 3 is to place Part A into the center of the back of the wheel, with the conical portion of Part A facing to the outside of the wheel. It should clear past the hub portion of your wheel and rest against the center cap catch lip toward the face of the wheel. This way, Part A does not interfere with the mounting of the wheel. Step 4. Thread Part B into Part C. Only one thread on Part B will properly thread into Part C. Step 5. From the outside of the wheel, thread the Part B-C combo into Part A. This will sandwich the face of the wheel between all parts. Part A is conical, so it will center itself. If Part B does not reach Part A, you may need the longer version of Part B as mentioned earlier. Contact me directly. Step 6 is optional and can be skipped if you are confident that there is no possibility of interference with Part A and the proper mounting of your wheel. To check the fitment, take your wheel with parts A, B, and C all assembled and mount it to the car. The hub should fit same as before, with the wheel seated flat against the brake hat. If there are clearance issues and the wheel will not seat properly, take note of the gap as best you can. Contact me for possible need for a thinner version of Part A as mentioned earlier. Step 7. Place Part D over Part C. Part C should sit nearly flush into the center hole of Part D, with only 1 millimeter of material protruding. As mentioned, Part D may need individual modification and can be done at home. If Part D does not sit flush against Part C, it may be that the lug interfaces are too long. If you need to cut Part D and don't have calipers, you may utilize the offset bar and radius arm from your measuring tool to determine the length needed. Step 8. You may skip this step if you do not need to cut Part D due to interference. Placing the radius arm and offset bar against Part C for measuring. Holding the two together, remove them and see the depth. Here you see a measurement of 20 millimeters. Add 4 millimeters to whatever measurement you get. To cut Part D, we recommend a slow tool like hacksaw or jigsaw, but any cutting tool can be used. Place Part D onto Part C after cutting to check fitment. Adjust as needed. Keep this depth adjustment as the remaining hardware will be printed to this length on any future orders. Step 9. Let's assemble the measuring tool. Place the measuring base with the attachment point facing up. Insert the offset bar into the base, closed end first, and numbers facing in toward the center of the measuring base. Place the radius arm into the radius arm holder. Take note of the arrow on the rear of the radius arm. It should be pointing up. Place the radius arm holder into the offset bar. Take note of the arrow on top. It should be on top and pointing away from center. This is the whole assembly. Step 10. Place the measuring tool onto Part D, aligning the 4 pegs. Step 11. Thread Part E onto Part D, completing the assembly and installation of the starter kit. Now let's measure. To take the measurement for the lip offset, move the radius bar up the offset bar until it rests on the lip of your wheel. Be sure that the radius arm is as level to 90 degrees with the offset bar as possible. Feel free to use a level if needed. Take note of your lip offset. Now for the fan offset. Move the radius bar further up the offset bar to the desired height and how much fan you want showing. For wheel radius. If you are using an aero disc like the other guys, or the disc, you will want to measure just short of the edge of the wheel where it meets the tire. Extend the radius arm all the way out until it is at the desired location and notate that radius. If you have a flat edge lip, like these wheels in the video, you will want the radius of the inside of the lip and the edge previously gathered for applications like the lip hugger. This is also the limitations of the fan distance that sit below and inside that wheel lip. For fan applications, the radius can be whatever you want. Some will prefer to have them stop at the lip or narrower to show a little wheel. It is up to you and your preferences. Notate all measurements for submission with your ordering as such: lip offset, fan offset, wheel radius, lip radius, if needed, fan radius, if narrower than the wheel, lug depth, if you had to modify Part D, so that all future hardware can be printed to that length. When placing an order with your custom measurements from the starter kit, place these into the notes at checkout. You can also include your lug and hub bore if desired, but if you ordered a starter kit, I already have that. Please then email a photo of your wheels to perry.studio35ive@gmail.com with your order number so that I can contact you and discuss any possible barriers or items to take into consideration. I will reach out to you prior to production. And that's it. Thank you so much for being part of the project and supporting it. I look forward to working with you and seeing what you do with your application of your Only Turbo Fans by Studio 35.